Into the third of the return of WWE Saturday Night Main Event. Fans were complaining that the first two events were more like glorified house shows. This certainly was not. That was a hell of an entertaining 2 hours of professional wrestling on Saturday night. And we kicked things off with a tag team match between Seth Rollins' group with him and Braun Breaker, of course, being accompanied by Paul Heyman. They took on the team of Sami Zayn and CM Punk, who I am still amazed that CM Punk's reactions seem to be getting louder and louder every time. Like the great Jim Cornette would say, like Mussolini hits the entranceway. But this match started off with an intense brawl that, of course, eventually went to Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins getting into the ring and kicking off the match. There wasn't a lot of crazy eye-flying spots to this match. Guys would brawl, they take each other out. Sami Zayn and CM Punk actually had majority of the control of this match. At one point, Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker rocked in the corner, and Paul Heyman ended up nipping the leg of Sami Zayn, creating the distraction. But then with CM Punk on the outside, leaning up against the barricade. Out of nowhere, the return of Big Bronson Reed, the master of the tsunami, puts CM Punk for the barricade. Breaker delivers the spear to Zayn. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins' group wins the matchup. Now, I had predicted that there was going to be some sort of distraction between Sami Zayn and CM Punk. They were playing it off like Sami Zayn and CM Punk don't really get along, which I never understood because they were both top of the chain baby faces in WWE. But obviously, we know the history between Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. They even acknowledged it on television. And we know after all the wars that Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed went through late last year, that Seth Rollins earned the respect of Bronson Reed, and this stable now is expanding. They compared it to Evolution when it first started, and it may start to look like that, where you have the veteran in Seth Rollins, you have the young cats in the heavy muscle in Braun Breaker, even heavier muscle now in Bronson Reed. Two guys who have either been mid card champions or been in the mid card, who are going to be elevated by not only working with Seth Rollins and not only working with Paul Heyman, but just by being in this high profile spot, high profile group, and what we assume is going to be for a while. And again, it feels like anything Paul Heyman touches, almost everything besides maybe Curtis Axel, has turned to gold. And I think Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker were both two breakout stars, especially on the Red Brand in 2024. I'm excited to see how this story progresses. And maybe does the OTC come to the aid of Sammy Uso, if you will, and his rival Phil Brooks, CM Punk, and we get a big six-man tag team match. We already have a tag team match of Money in the Bank, which we'll get to later. Maybe does that get pushed to the Saturday night's main event in July? Then we got what was announced on Friday, so I didn't make a prediction for it. It was the WWE Women's United States Championship rematch between Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green, who Chelsea Green got the majority of the offense in, but it was a very quick finish. Code red from Zelina Vega off the top rope. So that was after a bot 619, by the way. Zelina retains the United States Championship. Didn't do really anything for me. I personally enjoy Chelsea Green's Harvest. I think that the addition of Abba Fire has, maybe quieted Piper Niven a little bit, but I think that they should be taken more as a threat. I love this tag team. I think that WWE has made a mistake by dropping the United States Championship off at Chelsea Green. I really thought she could have had. I know she had the championship for what, 4.5 months or so. I thought she could have had a very long reign. I'm talking like a presidential esque WWE reign of like a year long title reign. Alba Fire, Piper Niven, they win the tag team championships. This secret service, all like JBL's, henchmen back in the day when JBL was the longest reigning WWE champion in SmackDown history. I feel like Chelsea Green, for her first reign as the United States champion, she could have had a tremendously long reign, set the tone, been a chicken shit. They had more members to the cabinet, and then she lose the championship to a very strong woman, you know, whether it's a Rhea Ripley or a Charlotte Flair, a Becky Lynch, whoever, an established star, maybe. And, I feel like that's how you elevate the WWE United States Championship. I don't think Zelina Vega's can do anything for that championship. I thought Chelsea Green made it feel important with the first championship reign. I want the title back on her. Then we get John Cena versus Ron Cena. Of course, R-Truth, who came out doing John Cena's old hits the way John Cena used to. R-Truth came out doing the shoulder tackles and the five knuckle shuffle and the AA to Cena. Cena kicked out, but the crowd was absolutely in love with it. Now, I said earlier on in my predictions that, because it was non-title, maybe there was a chance R-Truth could win this match, and I do think they're going to use R-Truth to get John Cena to turn back babyface, which we will talk about in a minute. But the end of the match, which was a very quick match, by the way, and we'll talk about that as well. John Cena goes to get the championship the way he's always done since he's been a heel. And Arch then he says, I'm not gonna use the title, and R-Truth thinks he might be turning back to the good side. Cena hands the championship to the referee, and when the referee goes to set the championship down, Cena kicks R-Truth in the balls. AA 1, 2, 3 walks out of his now adopted hometown in Tampa Bay, Florida, with the W. And a lot of people are complaining that, ever since this John Cena heel turn, WWE has not been that good as a whole. The heel turn has not made sense because it was based off The Rock. And that, John Cena's wrestling these horrible matches. And this is not what we wanted out of a John Cena final run. And that we wanted John Cena versus Gunther. And we wanted John Cena versus CM Punk. And we want John Cena versus AJ Styles. And, we got Cena versus Orton, but we wanted it as Cena's final match. And I'll just say this: John Cena's current gimmick right now is to ruin wrestling. And I actually think it makes sense, right? He was booed, he was cheered, he was all this for 20 years. And now, he feels like the fans, who, like me, way back in my teen years, said, we can't wait till John Cena goes. And now that John Cena is going to go, we're all set. And the John Cena to me is having bad wrestling matches and running out of arenas and doing the bare minimum on purpose because this is the gimmick. He is trying to ruin wrestling. And just like he said to Jey Uso backstage, right before his world championship match against Logan Paul, giving the world championship to a YouTuber is going to ruin wrestling. Again, I think it's all part of the gimmick. I absolutely love it. I think Cena's relishing in this role, killing it as a heel. I understand and I get it. It's like, man, this is not what we wanted out of John Cena's final run. We need to appreciate Cena for what he's done in the business. But this is why the character was created in the first place, because we did not appreciate what John Cena did in the business for all those years in the PG era. Then we get Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in the steel cage. Jesse the Body Ventura was on the call. For whatever reason, Jesse did not know the rules of the steel cage. He was talking over it while Lillian Garcia was delivering the instructions. Then he got pissed off when he found out Michael Cole indeed is undefeated at WrestleMania for defeating Jerry the King Lawler at WrestleMania 27. Then he got pissed off when Damian Priest basically walked out the door to win the match. And there were some cool spots. There was a suplex on the top of the cage. There was the callback to the Vegas street fight, the Sin City street fight at WrestleMania, where McIntyre tried to claymore Damian Priest's head for a chair. McIntyre missed, and then Priest delivering the concerto to McIntyre before walking out the door. And he sort of paused, which I thought that meant that he was going to go back and deliver another concerto. So I was a little bit disappointed at that. But Priest wins, as I predicted. He was going to get his revenge from WrestleMania to end this feud. A nice callback to the inventor of the concerto, as they said, the regular superstar Edge. I love the fact that they are now mentioning former WWE wrestlers on television again that are in AEW. They did not used to do that in the Vince McMahon era. Don't try to hide history, if you will. I do like that from current WWE. Good solid TV match. Jesse the Body Ventura was making me laugh the whole time. He did not care for Damian Priest. He basically called Damian Priest a sissy for walking onto the steel cage. Yeah, some of that stuff, which he even said, maybe they should get the limo out for Priest and let him drive through. I don't know if Jesse the Body Ventura was supposed to say all that on commentary, obviously, but it made for a fun, entertaining match. Then we got the World Championship match, and after the interaction between Jey Uso and John Cena backstage, which made me for a second think, oh my God, John Cena is going to cost Jey Uso the World Championship, which I thought the segment was done brilliantly because obviously going into the match, nobody expected the YouTuber to have a chance to knock off the Yeet Man for the World Heavyweight Championship. And we thought, why is this match the main event? Why is John Cena not the main event in his final appearance at Tim Florida? This was the reason why, because Cena was going to get involved in this match. Obviously, there's a point where Jey hits the super kick, Jey hits the spear, Jey goes for the splash, Cena pulls the referee out of the ring. Logan Paul and Cena then are trying to team up and take out the Yeet Man, and out comes the American Nightmare, who I'll be honest, I totally forgot about his first appearance since WrestleMania. Another significant moment on this show. He takes out Cena, forces him to run away. Jey Uso ends up getting a cover on Logan Paul after another splash. A crossroads from Cody. 1, 2, 3. The Yeet Man wins the World Championship. And as they're going off the air, which they were dead close, I mean, I'm talking right on the money at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Cody tells Cena and Logan Paul, tag team match. Cena and Logan Paul, the two duos that are trying to ruin wrestling, versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso at Money in the Bank. And this is going to be a way that I see it, a way to get to back to John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam, and Cody Rhodes is going to win back the Undisputed Championship from John Cena. John Cena will start to realize what he did wrong, and they're going to use R-Truth to do it. R-Truth is going to help reignite babyface John Cena. And I do think now at this point, John Cena's last match in his hometown in Boston, Massachusetts may be against the final boss, The Rock, after John Cena officially turns back babyface. That's where I'm sort of heading right now. Now, I'll be honest with you. I would love to see sort of a repeat of what they did in 2011, where CM Punk at Money in the Bank won the title off John Cena, blows Vince a kiss, leaves, and they have to create a tournament to crown a new WWE champion. I would love to see John Cena say he's going to ruin wrestling and retire with the championship. And then they have to create a new paper championship. And for whatever reason, John Cena comes back and says he's not going to allow anybody to hold a paper championship. And that's how you get John Cena another match, maybe another year. Maybe we find out this whole retirement tour thing was a ruse, which I've always thought going into the heel turn is a possibility. And then in 2026, we get the real retirement tour of John Cena. WWE can make merchandise out of it, they can milk the crap out of it. Because the one thing that I did not love about this retirement tour was that, Cena was supposed to be on TV every week, whether it's a Raw or a SmackDown, not every show. And he's held his promise so far to be on every PLE. But I thought he was going to be on TV weekly and not just do, one TV appearance and then the PLE match. So I was expecting, I think, a little bit more dates than what we got. Um, who knows where we're at down the line. I think Travis Scott's going to probably interfere in this tag team match. I don't think Jey Uso's losing the world championship because, as I said earlier, I think Jey is going to lose the championship to Seth Rollins and his group at SummerSlam. And so the way I see it, our two SummerSlam main events in Mount Life in New Jersey, I think main event night one is Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins, and I think main event night two is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Could be Roman Reigns versus CM Punk for night one. But I think our SummerSlam direction right now is pretty clear. And I thoroughly enjoyed this. This felt like more of a PLE than it did a glorified house show. Now, I didn't think the two Saturday nights main event before were glorified house shows like some people did. Uh, but that was a hell of a 2 hours of wrestling, folks. And a absolute tremendous show, set things up for Money in the Bank, and gave us something to look forward to on Raw and SmackDown in the coming weeks. Like that clip from the Brand's World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brand's World podcast right here on YouTube.